Welcome to How to Run Profitable Retreats podcast, the podcast that guides you not to only host retreats that thrive financially, but also transform people's lives. I'm your host, Leni Cavazos, and each week I bring you the best strategies and personal insights to help you create retreat experiences that transform lives, both your clients and your own. In our journey together, we'll dive into the secrets behind successful retreats, from crafting a unique atmosphere to mastering the logistics that ensure profitability. Whether you're tuning in for inspiring interviews with leading retreat experts or seeking actionable advice in our solo episodes, this podcast is your go-to resource for turning your retreat visions into reality. Don't miss out on any of our episodes and subscribe now. For more tools and a free guide on creating your own six-figure retreat business, visit theretreatplanner.com. Now let's get started and make your retreat dreams come true. Welcome back to another episode of How to Run Profitable Retreats from Your Heart. And I'm so excited to have Esther here with me today, having a conversation about alignment and I don't know, so many more surprises. I'm sure they're coming on the way. So welcome to our episode today. So happy to have you here and very excited for all the listeners to get to hear from you a little bit more, on who you are as a person and all the things magical things that you have to share.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm very excited about it to get to share my story and hopefully get some tips. I am providing some tips for other persons how to live a life with nature and in alignment. So, yeah.
Perfect. So tell us a little bit about how does it feel for you to be in alignment, or something that has happened to you in the past, or what?
Yeah, well, alignment is something that you learn on the way, live by living your life, and become much more conscious every day. It's of course also my work, so I have to listen to my intuition very much because I'm coaching women. I'm trying to get them to listen to their intuition better every day so they live a magical life because it's possible. And it all comes down to your intuition and your consciousness about what is important and how does the universe work and how can I co-create with the universe my daily life. And that doesn't have to be with all kinds of very demanding things to do or rituals, or you have to do this and then it will work out, or you have to do that and only then it works out. No. When you trust yourself and you go inwards to know yourself, to get your own manual, then you will know much more about who you are. You're okay with yourself, living with nature, with the seasons, with the moon. And when you are born and it's under a certain moon phase, that will tell a lot about you. So every time the moon is in that phase, you can go inwards and try to be a little bit reborn again. So that's the beauty of those things. Every time you can start anew, every time the universe is a loving universe, so it will help you living your best magical life.
So this is very interesting because I've seen the astral chart, the Vedic astral chart, you have human design, you have all these different things, right? You have the Mayans also, they have this way to see your astrology and which is your power animal, your powerhouse, and all these kind of things. But I didn't know that you actually got affected in a way, right? Or like marked or imprinted by, maybe this is a word, imprinted by the phase of the moon when you were born. This is very interesting.
It is, and you can just look it up on Google.
Tell us more about this. How does this like work? Because
So
now I'm so interested. I'm like, this is what I want to learn about.
well, it is every moon phase has its own characteristics. Huh? What? It's in Dutch it's an easier word. But it's all kinds of things that will tell something about a person, because I was born under the moon that was waning just before the dark moon. And well, you could look it up. Just Google your date of birth and your moon phase, and you will see it. So that is also every time letting go and starting new. So I also like do a lot of new things. I'm not somebody who will try to do all the time all the same things and get everything in a routine. For some normal tasks, it's easy for me. I like it to get a bit of a routine, but I also got that's a bit of being insecure about what's going to happen. So you have something of a security. But most of the time, I'm much better in alignment with myself when I do new things, when I can start up and get an idea in the world, and after that, when it's in the world, I'm already bored and want to go to the next thing. That's my phase.
Which phase did you say it was yours?
Yeah, well, just before the dark moon. That's the waning moon.
Okay.
So
very interesting.
Yeah, and when you are in the going to the full moon, it's also the upbuilding energy of the full moon and becoming one. So and it's also completeness. So that's also something most of the people who were born under that phase are trying to do. They are very much about everything getting completed. My tasks, my life. It's a bit yeah, from the female point of view, from where you are, because yeah, the moon and women is so much in contact. It's so connected.
Right.
Yeah, so you have yeah, every moon phase says something about somebody under which one you were born. So everybody is unique with their own horoscope, with their own astrology chart, and of course you have human design and all the things, but it's also the moon what tells a lot about you and about how you do your things.
Wow, this is quite interesting, I have to say. I just looked myself up and I'm waxing crescent phase, so it's kind of like in between.
In between, yeah.
I don't know exactly what that means, but it sounds interesting. I'm just like, now I'm gonna go and explore on this because it makes a yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's a little piece of your own manual. I think what everybody is trying to do is to get their own manual for their life. When do I have enough energy to do things? When is my energy low? Your own cycle, the moon cycle, everything works together. So if you know that around dark moon you are not, you don't have a lot of energy, don't plan very much things to do. Just do what's necessary and skip the rest to a week when you are in full energy because of yeah, your own cycle. And that's so interesting to get to know that, because then you know how to fully obtain a magical life for yourself that's relaxed and you don't overdo yourself, because yeah, women do have a lot of problems with setting boundaries. So you're always trying to please a lot of people. So yeah, well, then you know when you have to set a boundary because your energy is running low and you need to recharge.
Yeah, okay, so I love this, and I think this is so important in this space that you spend a lot of time, and I spend a lot of time working with women as well, just because I think there is like an up leveling that is happening right now with women, and opening up, and being more heart centered, so it's easier for women to go into the space of transformation and shifting what doesn't serve them anymore, right? And because we have this opportunity, we work with a lot of women. There's more women, I think, in the spiritual business than men, and it's absolutely amazing, and it's incredible to be able to see and to witness, right, all the transformation that women are going through. But it is so true that the moon has a huge effect in our moods, right? It's basically the same, because we're made on it. For me, it's like, I see it in a simple way, right? I see it from the space of like, the moon is the one who controls the tide, so it controls the water, right? And we're made 80% out of water. So it makes sense.
It did make sense. Yeah, I see a lot of people, mostly men, who are questioning the effects of a moon. The kids in my class were a bit noisy today and a bit out of control, and it is a full moon, but is it something that works together? Yeah, it works together. Everybody is affected by it, and of course, you are mostly a part of your body is containing water. So, and if it's affecting the Atlantic Ocean and the Great Ocean, so compared to that, of course, we are affected by it.
Of course.
Yeah, it's really very strange that they think they are above that, or not being able to be affected by it. It's I cannot understand it. Nature is amazing. Nature teaches you so much. And every time I speak with women and they are so frustrated or stressed, and oh, how much time do you spend in nature? Well, don't have time for it. Why? Because you can recharge there. You can see the circle of life in everything. So, well, you get to make yourself not so important, or the things you are worrying about, they are not so important anymore.
Right. Yeah. Being in nature, connecting with nature and being in nature, it's so powerful, right? Because you get to really connect with source, become more grounded, like really allows you to connect with your intuition as well, right?
Exactly. And just realizing you are nature. You're also a little seed that blossoms fully under the right circumstances. And after you get older and you get, the end is coming as well. So how do we think we are better or more conscious than that?
Right.
We're not. We're not. And also you can, put things a bit in perspective when you look at it.
Right.
Yeah. And I have to remind myself sometimes as well. Then I make a big fuss about things. Mostly it's about my kids, that I have to stand up for them, or I think something's gone wrong, or they need to have something, and later on you think, oh, everything goes the way it goes, and it will work out, and yeah, tomorrow the sun is coming up again.
Right. Yes.
I stress about it or not, so I better not stress about it.
Yeah, it's about this inner knowing, right?
Yeah.
Of just knowing that, you're doing your best, and you keep showing up.
Exactly.
And you keep showing up. And then one day you have a sign or an intuition that tells you go this way, and then you go, and something magical happens, and then you start believing more, and then another magical things happen, and then more magic starts happening in your life, right?
Yeah. You have a life.
Yeah. I was having a conversation with a friend, when I was in a trip in Peru with her. I went to her wedding, right? And we're super close friends. And we spent one afternoon together, just the two of us, just catching up, right? And it was beautiful. We were walking around town and just having these conversations. And she just told me, like, you have changed so much since the last 2 years that I haven't seen you. You're a completely different person. What happened? And I said, I just couldn't ignore the signs that magic was happening around me all the time. I just couldn't ignore it anymore. There was no reasoning behind for me to not believe. And that just it was such a huge realization. And just to be able to say that out loud, and it's true. The moment I really understood that, and my brain stopped asking all these silly questions, why is this like this? There's a scientific explanation behind this. And, are you going crazy? This thing is not real for sure. And there was a point, there was so much magic happening in my life that I couldn't deny it anymore. It was just, it basically hit me on my face, and it was like, it's here, and then more and more and more and more. And I was just like, okay, fine. I give up.
Yeah, I surrender. Okay, yeah. How much more signs do you want?
Yes, I surrendered, and I was just like, that's it. No need for more explanations. No need for many more things. I asked to, I asked to work with Joe Dispenza because I really wanted to create this bridge between the mind and my heart, because, it was a thing. My mind was really struggling to keep up with all the things that were happening to me. They couldn't understand, because it's not something that you understand. It's something that you feel, right?
Yeah.
And I asked for this. I was just like, I really want to work with Joe Dispenza because I want to create this bridge between my mind and my heart. And I was surprised in a way that I wouldn't even imagine it. Instead of me going to one of his retreats, that's really what I thought it would happen.
Yeah.
One of my clients came and she said to me, Leni, will you organize a retreat for me for Joe Dispenza? And I'm like, yes.
Of course.
I literally got to work with him. Yeah. Literally. Wow. It was so, you know what I mean? When those things start happening to you, you're like,
right. Yeah.
Okay, take me anywhere. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm trusting. I'm I'm surrendering. I'm here. What else do you need?
Yeah, exactly. Oh.
Right.
I know what you mean, because the retreat I hosted it last week. We were back that Sunday, and I'm still processing, because there are so many things that happen, and so many yeah, what you just said, so many things that hit you, that this is great, and oh wow, this was magical, and apparently I can do that, and in the next level. And yeah, it was so who you want to be, and also amazing that it works out the way we thought about it, and it was even bigger, and it was even more amazing than we could have imagined. So I'm still processing at the moment in this week. Yeah, and still also looking, how do I want to go with my business, because it's of course coaching, and well, I didn't figure it out yet. I'm just taking my time this week to rest, to enjoy the amazing vibes, and well, we have to put everything on the Instagram, how amazing it was. So I'm trying to get the words. I don't know the words yet, but it will come.
It's integration time.
Yes.
This is something that is so important after retreats, right? We have to give ourselves time to integrate everything that we experienced.
Yeah, exactly.
If we don't allow that time, we just don't get as much as we could have from retreats, right?
Yeah.
And when you're a retreat leader and you're hosting and holding space for a retreat, not only the other people who are learning, you are also learning. You are growing together. Right? That's why so many people choose to sit in circles when you're in a retreat, right? Because in a circle, there's no one in front. There's no one, it's just all together, co-creating the experience. With someone guiding, of course, right? You don't want to leave them like, that they don't know what to do or where to go, what's happening. But it's more about this space of leading and guiding rather than just putting, the connection, like the communication channel one way to the next. Just like one-sided, right? From here, there.
Yeah.
But it's not like that.
No,
It's just
it's not.
circular.
Yeah, because also the input from the contestant it's very important because they will let you see things their way, and I'm always interested and I'm always curious to see how other people work and what works for them and how they do things. And it's interaction, it's being inspired by other people, and well, that's just the beauty of a circle.
I love it. I think this is so important, and it's a very important point, to learn how to listen to the subtle things that are happening. Because, intuition usually at the beginning is very subtle, right? I don't know about you, but for me, it's clear, but it's subtle. It's very soft, it's sweet. It's just like, like if there's some guidance, it's just like I'm meditating or I'm in a sound journey because, for me, sound journeys are the way I really work. Like my body is just like directly tuned, and it's like, like in a second I'm like gone, and sometimes it takes me hours, sometimes it takes me a minute, right? It's not always the same, but that's the medicine that works for me, right? That and tea ceremonies, for some reason, tea ceremonies in silence, completely opposite, right? Sound or silence, that's it. Okay. No in between. But usually it's very subtle, right? It's just like this guidance of like, you should do this, very soft, very feminine. It's like sometimes it's like a little bit stronger. It's just like you need to get out of there.
Yeah.
Right. I got this, like I was dating someone once and I was I was sleeping. Yeah, I was sleeping. Very interesting. Yeah. And I haven't spoken about this in any episode, first of all, and I haven't spoken about this in quite some time. But I was sleeping and I just woke up in the middle of the night. No, I'm sorry, my bad. So I did a breathwork session like by myself, like a solo journey, right? So I was doing a breathwork session. I was playing, like I had some music playing and I was just there doing my thing. And then I got this message that said, you need to get out of there. Very like subtle. It was very clear. Like it was a whole phrase. It was like, you need to leave. That's it. Of course, human beings as we are, I decided not to listen because I was like, the person was out of town. So I was like, oh, when he comes, then I always like to have these in-person conversations. Not like shifting that because I don't think it's so necessary anymore. But anyway, I'm just like, I want to see him and, face him and be honest and, honor the space and the energy and all this kind of thing. So I was like, okay. So then like finally a couple of weeks, he came back and then I was sleeping and I just woke up in the middle of the night and it's like, ask him if he has a kid. This was the message, in the middle of the night. Of course, I woke up at 5 a.m. and I'm like, excuse me. And then he was like in awe. He couldn't speak, right? Of course, because it was truth. It was a reality, right? And then I still I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go back to sleep. I was upset and whatever. But then another message came and I was like, okay, I hear you.
Yeah.
Right? There was this subtle message saying this is not in your highest interest. Then I decided to stay there. And then I had to listen more and then listen more and then listen more. And and then it became very toxic at the end, because he ended up stalking me. He was just like telling me, I want to be with you, your energy is so nice, I feel so good when I'm around you, like I don't want to let you go, and then like it was like almost for a year, right? And I didn't know how to stop it. And I can tell you, if I stopped it in the beginning when it says get out of there,
Yeah.
this would have not happened for sure. But because
Yeah.
I didn't listen,
Yeah.
I had to go into different. Yeah, I had to go deep down the rabbit hole and then learn even more, right? And be like, how do you manage something like this? How do you tell someone, I am sorry that you like my energy, I don't like yours?
Yeah, exactly. So bye now.
Right?
Yeah, well, it's always you get the message, and it goes from subtle to really harsh and in your face. Yeah. Again, how many signs do you want?
Yeah, they're gonna keep coming, right?
The first thing you learn about that is next time when there's something subtle, you don't wait because it takes a long time if you don't act on it or just ignore the signs.
Yeah.
If you want change and everything. So yeah, well, your conscious, it's a bit, yeah, it's very necessary during the day, and your intuition and listening to it, it's so important.
Hmm. I
Really
love
is.
this.
Yeah, me too. It's magic.
It is magic, right? There's magic all around us. And this has been
Yeah.
such a fun conversation. It has gone to so many different directions that I'm like so excited. I can't wait to go find out about my moon and what does this mean, and how do I implement this into my life, because it's not like I don't have many more things to implement, but honestly at the end of the day it's all about going back inside, right? And going back inside and going back inside.
I, I I always like it. I always like it when I get to know things about myself. How do I work, or what is in the stars, or how do which moon phase, or the chakras, which one is working a little less at the moment. Well, then you can do something about it.
And yeah, you can shift it, right?
Yeah,
I love this.
yeah, me too.
Is there anything else you want to share with the people listening to us today?
Um, well, yeah, get your own manual straight. So when you are still open to change and still open to learning about life and about yourself and how you work, then I think life is magical and you get everything out of it. Because if you set boundaries or something, I know already, I know this. And there's always learning. There's always after that. So precisely when you get a driver's license, and you got the paper and you got the permit and you go on the road, then you learn to drive. The experience, the new situations, you become more confident about yourself because you are doing it, and that's with everything. So after some certificate or diploma, there's so much more to learn because you shift your goal as well.
I really like this message. Thank you so much for sharing it. It is so important that for us to understand that we're always learning and it doesn't ever stop.
No.
Right. I remember when I was in school, they used to say that the people who never stopped studying, it was doctors and lawyers, because doctors' medicine is always updating, and lawyers, well, laws are always updating. So you never stop studying, right? So it's like a never-ending career path. That's what they used to say in like career orientation or whatever, right? But now as I grow older and hopefully wiser, I realize that every single career that you choose, it never stops. Whatever you choose to learn from, whatever makes you passionate, it doesn't matter if it's women retreats, if it's like workshops, if it's like bringing some mindset into your office, being a better boss, like it doesn't really make a difference. It's at the end of the day, that's just a container.
Yeah.
It's about understanding and being humble enough to know that you don't know everything and you will never get to know absolutely everything, and it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. And that is especially also about alignment and being yeah, like the Dalai Lama. Some people call, I don't know the word, light worker, but very high.
Enlightened.
That's the word, enlightened. It doesn't work that way. You can strive to that, but I think it's more important that you become a better person, that you are compassionate about other living beings, and that you try to do good. And every time you evolve, every time. And
Right.
just remember, you are the student of your own life as well as the master, because it's your life.
I love it.
I was never before this age. I just turned 48 on the 5th of May. Well, I don't know. I never have been this age. So I take yesterday with me in the life experience to today, and that will bring me to tomorrow. And we'll see. Every day is a new day to learn something new.
Oh, thank you, Esther. I really love this. Thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge. And I know there's people who will be interested in talking to you. And also, I want to tell them that you are based in Holland. So if there's someone from Holland listening, you know, you might want to catch her up in person at some point. So how can people find you?
How do people find me? Well, through Instagram, I have several accounts there, 2 in Dutch and 1 in English, so that will be okay. And I also coach on Zoom, so no problem if you live outside of Holland.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll get all the details in the chat, on the caption underneath, and you get to experience a little bit more of Esther. So Esther, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for everyone who's listening to this episode. I hope you enjoy it and you found some very useful information to implement into your day-to-day life. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.
Wow, what a great episode. If you like our podcast, How to Run Profitable Retreats, leave us a review and share it with a friend.